Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Aux Talks. It is Saturday, July 27th, 2024. Tuning in to talk with all of you just for a few minutes from Florence, Italy. We're finishing, I guess, be the third leg of our trip here today. It is right now recording time 10:25 a.m. here, but we're 9 hours ahead of everybody on the West Coast, 6 hours ahead of you on the East Coast. So I'll probably wait to publish this until late today, which will make it early in the morning your time Saturday. So we are actually been staying at this wonderful property. It's actually a palace, if you will. It is a family home, but the family hasn't lived here since like the 80s. And now they've turned this into, it's just about 13 rooms, but it's an unbelievable property right downtown Florence. And it is great. So we've had a wonderful time. I haven't been able to do as many videos, only been here for 3 days. So it's been a bit hectic. Florence is a very artsy, it's, let's say, more of an artistic town. It is more, I don't want to say congested, but everything is within walking distance in terms of the main things to see. The sites, the art galleries, the shopping, it's all in a little closer, much closer area than, let's say, for example, Paris, and even Venice, I think, from that perspective. So we've enjoyed it. It's been warm. It's been high 90s here, and the humidity, because the humidity's been probably in the 70s and 80 percentile. So we're used to, in Southern California desert, extreme heat over 100, but usually humidity is a bit lower. So it's more tolerable than I think it is here. When you're out walking around in high 90s with 85% humidity, it is taxing on you, and most of everything is walking around. We've had a great time. Let's talk just briefly about what's been unfolding this week. We saw a roller coaster in the stock market this week. Big sell-off midweek, a big recovery, if you want to call it that. Yesterday, metals have been on a roller coaster. Gold and silver had some big days and then just got destroyed. Gold, I think, came back a bit yesterday, put on about a $20 an ounce gain, if you will. Still has not recovered 2,400. Silver's been bashed down. You know, they love to beat back silver. As soon as it hits that 30, 31 mark, it just gets slammed. So we're going to watch it. Is it still, from my perspective, one of the most undervalued assets? I believe so. And that's not financial advice. It's not economic advice, but I still believe in that asset, okay? We saw what happened with let's say, the CrowdStrike situation, which impacted a lot of the online systems early last week. And the airlines, some of the airlines, including Delta, were having dinner last night with a group of people who had been caught up in that melee getting out of Florida into Italy using Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines was one of the airlines that got impacted, for the longest time, as I understand it, by that systems down situation with the computer platform and Microsoft, and so what I did was delayed, and basically these people were explaining how their flights were canceled, 3-day delays, and then they lost the luggage. So these people were here in Italy for like 3 days, just got their luggage yesterday, according to them. So that's a real problem. I told you a friend of mine is a Schwab client, invests a lot of money in Schwab for his 401ks. I'm not going to go there right now. He and I have debates almost daily on whether you should be piling your money into a 401k vis-a-vis the stock market right now. I think you all know my perspective on that. And number one, when you're in a 401k, you're putting money in pre-tax dollars. So when you withdraw that money, you have to pay ordinary income tax on those withdrawals. If the principal of those holdings also goes down in the interim, you could be faced with a double whammy, meaning you have reduced principal, right? So you've lost the value of your investment, or a lot of it, if the stock market crashes and you're in the wrong things. For example, you're not properly hedged. And then, of course, when you make withdrawals, you have to pay income tax on it. So having $2 million in the stock market is not, in the stock market through a 401k is not really having $2 million, guys. It's $2 million less, let's say 40%, whatever your tax bracket is, okay? So I think of it in those terms, all right? So economy, we know yesterday the inflation numbers, I say the Fed's favorite gauge of inflation, the PCE index numbers were released. According to mainstream, it was pretty much in line with expectations, but I believe the core number, there's core and there's super core. I'm not going to go into it. You guys can look at it for yourself, but the core number I think was a little bit higher. The stock market didn't seem to be fazed by that, didn't believe that it was impacting the chances for a rate cut, certainly in September. Let's see how that plays out. Like I said, the gold market, the gold rallied a bit, picked up some of the losses it suffered from Thursday. So evidently the markets as a whole took that inflation reading as, let's say, positive, towards the narrative that inflation is coming down towards that target 2%. We all know that's a bunch of BS, right? It's much higher than that. But it's the expectation, it's the thinking and the sentiment, excuse me, of the markets, which is important for everyone's numbers, right? In terms of your stock market portfolio, even spot gold and spot silver play off of that. We know the 10-year bond plays off of that. So a lot happening. The election process continues to unfold with the Kamala Harris situation, and let's see what happens there. There's a lot going on. I addressed briefly on a show a few days ago relative to Kamala Harris's, yes, a usurpation, if you will, of that $91 million of campaign funds that President Biden had raised for his reelection campaign that now I believe has been transferred over to Harris's election campaign. So let's see how all this plays out. With the Olympics now unfolding in Paris, I saw an article last night that the train system, the train system in France into the Olympics for the opening ceremonies, there was some kind of a hack, and the train system was down, which was preventing hundreds of thousands of people from getting into and out of Paris, France, where the Olympics are, I think, starting, I believe, this weekend. If I'm not wrong, I don't know. You guys, fact check me on that and leave your comment below. But you know, we were in Paris for 6 days, and we purposely planned it so we were out of that area and that country long before the Olympics kicked off. They were setting up all of the viewing areas when we were there. They were starting to cordon off certain areas. It was starting to get a little bit more congested. But I understand that a couple days after we left, it was a nightmare. People trying to cross the Seine, I think it's the Seine, S-E-I-N-E river, which was easy to do when we were there. It was just traversing back and forth by taxi or Uber or bus or on foot. They said that became a disaster. You had to have certain codes to get across the bridge. Security is going to be unbelievable. And so I'm just glad that we made it there to see it, and that we were out and clear of that melee chaos, which is unfolding now. And I sure pray for everybody that's there during the Olympics that it's safe. There's a lot of political stuff happening where they're talking about boycotting the Israeli athletes or the Palestinian athletes. I'm not totally up on that. I just know that there is a lot of angst on both sides of that, which is impacting these athletes. And all they want to do is compete, right? All they want to do is participate and compete. And these guys, they train at such a high level. Their entire lives are dedicated to whatever their sport is. And once they, qualify for the Olympics, then being able to compete at that high level. So I don't know. I guess just from a 10,000 foot view, it seems to me that we should just let these athletes compete. Most of them are so much younger. They're teens and early 20s. They're not. They shouldn't be caught up in this situation, but they are. Let's see how this unfolds in Paris, France this week. Obviously, we have plenty of problems that we're dealing with in the United States. We know that things are very tenuous right now. I would expect that the level of, let's say, derisiveness, divisiveness, separation, angst, anxiety, all that is going to, I believe, start to culminate as we get closer to this November time frame. I pray that that's not the case, but I believe that it's going to unfold that way. I, for one, am enjoying this special family time I have right now, this vacation, which is about 20 days with the family. But I am, let's say, looking forward to getting back on a U.S. soil where we can let this August, September, October timeframe play out with the stock markets, with the election process, and all the things that are going to come along with it. Obviously, for those of you that are struggling every day just to put food on the table, some of this may not be concerning to you at a macro level. But obviously, it all does trickle down to you, and I understand. I understand that a lot of people, when I read all your comments. A lot of you share your heartfelt situations, and I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Everybody has to keep putting in their own situation one foot in front of the other, okay? And do your best. If you have a job right now, do your best to keep that job. We're gonna continue to see layoffs increasing, I believe, this year and into next year. And we're going to continue to see pain on that front as well. The labor market's going to keep getting softer, and in a lot of respects, that's really what the Fed wants to see. The Fed wants to see a softer labor market, right? And that's encouraging to the Fed. So again, it's counterintuitive to all of us. They're trying to keep, solid jobs, keep solid revenues and income coming in the door. We are talking about on this channel all the time from inception. Give some thought right now, if you can, to setting up a small business of your own, some kind of a side hustle, some kind of something where you are your own boss, even if you do it on the weekends or after hours. And look, I understand it's extra stress, extra time, but you just never know when you're going to be in a situation where you lose a job, or you have a loved one or a family member or a parent have an unforeseen health situation where extra money is needed to pay those bills or to assist with family members. All right, so it's not just you or your spouse or your kids, but it could be some other family that you're kind of, let's say, quasi-responsible for. All right, so keep all that in mind. I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm just out here having discussions. Looking forward to starting the live stream, guys, which we discussed a couple weeks ago. Looking forward to starting that live stream show in early August. We're going to do 4 days now. We leave this morning. We're taking a train from Florence down to Rome, and then we do 4 nights in Rome, and then we fly home, I believe, on the 31st. So I'll be back in the office this next week. It'll be Friday before I'm in the office, probably, but I do plan to get over there and start to reestablish the routine again. Have been getting the workouts in as time permits. We've been walking. I think I commented to somebody the other day, average steps is about 15,000 steps a day. Some days it's 20,000 steps, just because we're doing a tremendous amount of walking. So there is a value to that. I discuss it all the time on this channel, getting your steps in, okay? Keeping moving. So we are doing that every day, but I did in Paris. There was a gym at the hotel I used, I think, 5 days out of the 6 days I was there. There has been a gym here. I think I put up a couple shorts. Florence Fitness right next door to this property, which I've used 2 of the 3 days we've been here. So I am trying to get the official workouts in where possible, because some strength training is important to keep your muscle and keep your strength. The steps are good, cardio is good, but you have to supplement with something, even if it's just dropping down and doing push-ups or doing sit-ups or doing body weight squats, that kind of stuff. Again, not to lecture you guys, I'm sure I'm going to get some comments. We don't care about your exercise routine. This goes there for everybody, okay? No matter what age you are, obviously physical condition permitting and health permitting, my suggestion is that to all of us is that we get this stuff done. Stay physically fit to the extent that we possibly can. It's so important for stress reduction, stress management, overall fitness in terms of your immune system. So let's try to keep all that going. We're about 15 minutes here. I just wanted you guys to kind of see the backdrop of where we've been staying for a few days. And we have Rome. So my understanding about Rome is we're going to be a little bit warmer. close to 100 degrees, 101 degrees, but humidity drops from mid 80s to about mid 30s. That's a big difference. Humidity is a major factor from my perspective in terms of kind of the enjoyment factors. Looking forward to less humidity. Don't mind 100, 101. Right now it's 120, I think, in Palm Springs. So that's what's happening. Appreciate all of you. I'll try to put up a few more photos that I took in the last couple of days here. And I appreciate everyone's patience while I get back in the routine late next week. And then we'll start that live stream as well. Again, a lot is happening. I appreciate everyone being here. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you guys anything. Share the videos with as many people as you can. Every time I sit down and have a meal here, I've been talking to people about the channel. It's not selling anything. It's just, hey, other parts of the world have different perspectives and they want to hear about what's going on in the United States. I've got a lot of inquiries from that. So, we're trying to share it. So, hey, go check out the channel. It's economic based. And so I have been talking it up a bit while I'm here, but I hope you guys will all do the same for me. Let's continue to grow the subscribers. We are losing subs. We're getting shadow banned. I don't know why or how. I don't get all that, but I do see that we've lost subs. Not complaining. I appreciate all of you that are here. The thumbs up button, the bell notification, please hit those as well for me. Have a great Saturday today. You'll see this probably early in the morning, Saturday, wherever you're at in the United States. And I will try to touch base if I can throughout the weekend or later in the weekend. If not, I will touch base from Rome here in a couple days, give you guys some shots. And then again, back in the office late part of this week. That being said, have a great weekend. Spend some family time. It's important. Try to keep some balance. I know it's easy to get caught up in the stress. It's important to keep some balance. Talk to you all soon. Bye.